Hello my good friends, I hope you're all doing just fine. Welcome to the channel Digimon Explained. My name is Jesse and in this video I wanted to take you back to one of the most popular Digimon in the franchise, namely Gatomon. It's a Digimon we have discussed on several occasions already. That's why I put all videos related to Gatomon in the pinned messages in the comment section, but also in the description box. That way you can all go and check out what has been said about it already. In this video I wanted to pay special attention to its X DIGIVOLUTION line to see how it would develop from its rookie form to its mega form. I wanted to put the entirety of this line into a single compressed video. That way we could all have a little discussion together and hopefully all possible questions will be answered here. Just in case, before we go ahead, know that this video will come in the X DIGIVOLUTION playlist in the channel. And every time I talk about an X DIGIVOLUTION, I have to make reference to that one video dedicated to explain the whole concept behind the X-Antibody. Please make sure to check it out if you haven't already. It will help you to better understand this video. Now that that's said, let us get into it. We're going to start the explanation with Gatomon's rookie form, namely Salamon, who also has its own X-enhanced version named Salamon X. We're talking about a mammal Digimon based on the Bloodhound dog breed. I find it funny to know that the Gatomon line basically starts with a dog, meaning Salamon, to then become a cat, meaning Gatomon, and then jump to the Angewomon to ultimately take a split route to become either the dragon Magnadramon or remain an angel but in the form of Ophanimon. So, from a dog to a cat to an angel to a dragon. Really interesting, you really never know with Digimon. Now, despite Salamon originally being an experimental Digimon that was created by Digimon researchers, it still has what I love to call a divine heritage, meaning that it belongs to the family of Digimon who live near God and thus belonging among the holy species Digimon. Though, Salamon, despite being part of that family, is unable to manifest its holy powers. That will change in its X-enhanced form. We will get into that in a moment. One of the ways to know whether a Digimon belongs to the heavens is to search for a holy ring they tend to carry on different parts of their bodies and sometimes in multiple numbers. Salamon has it on its neck. We discussed the properties of the holy ring in its own video. I'll make sure to put the link towards that video in the description box. But to be brief about the holy ring, it basically gives the carrier great power relative to their holiness. But if the Digimon loses its holiness, either by falling from grace or by being possessed, it will also lose its holy ring or rings and potentially become a darkened version of itself. When we take into account the properties of the holy ring and the power enhancements that come with the X-Antibody, we can say that Salamon X is the better and stronger version of Salamon. In this X-enhanced version of itself, its cuteness now gives increased feelings of happiness to those who see it. Not only that, its holy powers have also increased, and with the increasement, it gained a new technique called Puppy Paw. It's a technique that Salamon X is actually unaware of, but still a technique that makes it generate a form of barrier against virus species Digimon. These same Digimon species who desire power above else, which makes them become greedy, selfish, wild, or evil in the pursuit of it. Salamon X gained enhanced powers to specifically counter virus-type Digimon, which does make sense as Salamon and most of its line are vaccine Digimon, meaning Digimon who are created to prevent the destruction of important data by virus Digimon. When Salamon X continues its Digivolution route, it will X-evolve into Gatomon X, one who had its feline traits enhanced due to the X-Antibody. It also gained elongated claws, which, by the way, were initially copied from Saber-Leomon's data, making of Gatomon a sort of limited chimera-like Digimon. I say limited because when, in comparison to KIMERAMON, I would say that Gatomon's design is quite humble. Aside of the increased feline traits, Gatomon X has some other changes, like the mysterious red marking on its forehead. Unfortunately, the marking has not been explained. I was hoping it would have some properties, but no information on it has been disclosed. Another change to Gatomon X is the second tail it now has. Interestingly, the tail is reminiscent of a Japanese entity called Nekomata, They are a kind of yokai cat or supernatural cat who has multiple tails. There are two types of nekomata, those who live in the mountains and those who lived domestically and who have grown old to then be transformed into a yokai cat. It is the domestic cat who is several years of age that will come to have two tails like Gatomon X. So, interestingly, via this Digivolution line we are now exposed to some Japanese cultural and spiritual history. Always loved that aspect in Digimon. Gatomon X now carries a bigger holy ring on its shoulders, while as a Gatomon the ring was on its tail and was small. I also noticed that it carries a holy chime to its ear ring on its left ear. That ring is worn intensely due to the extent of its holy power and even has the ability to drive off evil Digimon. For your information, the chime is inspired of the Suzu. They are round, hollow Japanese Shinto bells. It is said that ringing them will call deities, otherwise known as kami. The calling allows one to acquire positive power and authority while repelling evil. This is exactly what the bell on Gatomon X's ear is doing, which is fitting for a vaccine-type Digimon. Other changes between Gatomon and Gatomon X is that Gatomon X's body has become smaller in comparison. Its curiosity and desire to cause mischief have been enhanced even more, and its original innocent demeanor manifests strongly, which is interesting. You know, normally when a Digimon digivolves into an X-enhanced version of itself, it tends to become a bit more powerful and sometimes more aggressive. The Digimon will usually evolve into a battle-hardened version of itself. That's what normally should happen. However, the properties of the X-Antibody is somewhat overlooked and its effects vary depending on the Digimon. We talked, for example, about Vademon and explained that Vademon X is in fact a weaker version despite having been X-enhanced. And with Gatomon X, you see, rather than having been transformed into a fighter figure, it changed to eliminate redundant features in order to exhibit more of the holy power hidden within. That explains the change. It was meant to enhance its holy powers even more. It was meant to make it more powerful against its arch-nemesis, the Vibrant Species Digimon. That explains why its holy ring got bigger, and it explains why it has the chime on its left ear. And you will see, once we move forward with Gatomon X's Digivolution line, you will notice that its holiness will only become more pronounced. Here is something important to tell before moving forward. I have to make a little detour if you don't mind. By now, you are all familiar with the Digimon Armadillomon, Vmon, and Hawkmon. They belong to a group of ancient species Digimon, meaning that they date to the very beginnings of the digital world. It was a period where Digivolution was close to impossible. That's why they used the powers of Digi-Eggs to digivolve. Gatomon is itself not a descendant of ancient species Digimon, however, it did become able to armor digivolve by awakening the special ability that slept within its composition data. We made an entire video talking about its armor digivolution, the link is in the description box. I am mentioning it because there is one armor digivolution in Gatomon's already extensive armor digivolution arsenal that has received an X-enhanced form. I'm talking about Nefertimon, Gatomon's armor digivolution through the power of the Digi-Egg of Light. Nefertimon became Nefertimon X due to the X-Antibody. I always liked Nefertimon in general because it got its roots from the Egyptian queen Nefertiti, the queen of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. I've got a statue of the queen in my room. You can say that the X-Antibody had a good effect on Nefertimon X as its animal-like agility and grappling abilities have improved because of it. As in Nefertimon, its defensive ability was weak, that's why it gained armor as in Nefertimon X, armor that allows it to act more swiftly. On top of that, by having combined with the data of Saber-Leomon's claws, it now exhibits powerful kill potential. Up to a point, it can now slaughter the enemy from all directions at a speed too quick for the regular eye to see. As a Holy Beast Digimon, its holy powers have also been enhanced. meaning that its low impact strength it once had as a Nefertimon has now been boosted several tens of times against evil Digimon due to the power of light purifying darkness. So there is really a difference between Nefertimon and Nefertimon X, a clear evolution and enhancement on that what the original version was. Now it became one who really is combat ready with not just power but also defense with its armor, and that with an edge over those Digimon with an evil nature. Let us get back to Gatomon X, shall we? As you know, when Gatomon digivolves, it becomes Angewomon, the first in Gatomon's line to have joined the angel species Digimon. Angewomon is an archangel type Digimon, and because of its soul and power, it is said to be a being like a goddess of the digital world. When it gets into its X-enhanced version, it will become Angewomon X, a variant who has its sacred power amplified. Now, it can release pure spirits by touching fire, earth, wind, and water. As a result, fire has the effect of driving away evil, the earth quickly sprouts and blooms, water is purified, and wind makes any Digimon it touches gentle. This is making it take on the road of Sakuyamon, who is another powerful Digimon with full mastery of the elements of water, fire, earth, and wind. Though Sakuyamon still remains at the mega level, unlike Angewomon X, who is at the ultimate level. Anyway, Angewomon X can now even transfer the power it gained from surrounding elements and release it as an arrow of lightning. It's essentially a stronger version of the celestial arrow that it shoots as an Angewomon. Maybe for your information, Angewomon was ranked at the 13th place in the Digimon X-Antibody Super Vote. It was an online event held in 2018 in which fans were able to vote once a day for which Digimon they would like to see obtain X-Antibody forms. In total, there were 50 Digimon, many of which were fan favorites but who never received an X-Antibody for themselves to this day. At the 7th place you had Millenniumon, who never got an X-Antibody form. At the 25th place you have Skullgreymon, who is also one I'd have loved to see get an X-enhanced form. And there are more of them. I will go over the list in a separate video. Let us get back to Angewomon X. In this form, there are a grand total of about 3 routes it can take in terms of its Digivolution path. There is the Holy Angel side, the Holy Dragon side, and obviously the Dark side, whenever it falls from grace. We're going to continue with the Holy side first and finish with the Dark side. So, as Angewomon is an angel, and if it manages to remain an angel, it will become Ophanimon, one of the 3 Celestial Digimon, a group we have discussed in its own video. The link towards it is in the description box. Ophanimon is an Ophanim Digimon, and a Digimon seen as a holy mother-like being who imparts the loving and merciful side of God. It has its own X-enhanced form named Ophanimon X. In this form, its wings shine like crystals, and it is said that your heart will overflow with calm feelings just at first glance. The sight of it standing gently on top of a single wheel also highlights its elegance. Speaking of, I'm sure that many who are ill-informed have this idea that the Ophanim angel is this humanoid being with wings, a bit like Ophanimon X. You would not be wrong if you believed that. However, depending on your source, the Ophanim angel is said to be a wheel, or rather wheels, with eyes on them. In fact, they are the wheels of the Lord's heavenly chariot. That's why, when you look at the armor of Ophanimon or Ophanimon X, you see that its shoulder pauldrons are wheel-like in reference to the traditional depiction of the Ophanim. As an Ophanimon X, the wheel has been emphasized even more as the angel is now standing on top of a wheel. Its armor also remains inspired by the wheel that is the Ophanim, as there is always a circle that will come back. Also, the same armor on its shoulders can get detached and combined to form a weapon called Eden's Lance, with which it can generate a large number of magic circles to fire holy light from them. Which also reminds me, Ophanimon X became one in an interesting list of many Digimon who carry lances in combat. Gallantmon, Examon, Grey Knightsmon, and Darkdramon are among those Digimon who carry lances in combat. Maybe I should make a top 10 video talking about the best lance user in the Digimon franchise. We did make a top 10 Digimon Swordsman video after all. Oh, and even a top 10 Digimon height. Why not continue with a similar video? Now, usually when I talk about Angel Digimon, I always end up talking about the darkness. After all, light and darkness are never so far away from each other. There is an Ophanimon who, despite imparting God's loving and merciful side, turned so angry that it suppressed its own emotions and fell into madness. That's how it became an Ophanimon in its Falldown mode. That's when it goes little by little to the dark side. It welled with anger at the world where atrocious sins kept mounting no matter how many times they are purged. That's why it closed off its heart. And you know what? I think it's quite crazy and quite a contradiction to suddenly see an angel walking with a scythe, as a scythe is a weapon usually associated with death. It's a weapon which reminds us that death reaps the souls of sinners like the peasant who harvests corn in his field. Ophanimon in its Falldown mode has powers who are heavily underestimated. It can perform summoning techniques to torment an opponent until it dies, and the scythe it carries can be shrouded in flames with which it hunts down the enemies in order to plunge the haunted soul with hellfire into hell. This same Ophanimon has also an X-enhanced form, namely Ophanimon X. A better equipped Ophanimon to take on multiple enemies at once. Now, it can turn its flame scythe into a giant scythe engulfed in flames on both ends. It has 3 floating wheels around itself. These are used to pursue the enemy and slice them apart. Not only are they already quite powerful themselves, but their powers can also become greater. In fact, it rises significantly when they are enveloped in the same flames that engulfed the scythe. Now that Ophanimon X has gained the power to take on an entire army, it continues its extermination of the never-ending threats to justice alone. In fact, in order to nip evil in the bud, it hunts whichever opponent it has judged to have become a barrier to justice, and tries to establish a world of what it recognized as justice. With its own interpretation of justice, one can only wonder where the fine line is between morals and ethics and being simply wrong, evil, or straight up immoral when trying to bring order. Anyway, let us return to Angewomon as it has another branch when it comes to its Digivolution line. We're going to get back to Ophanimon Falldown mode in a moment. I said that it can also take the Holy Dragon route as it can digivolve into Magnadramon. This Holy Dragon Digimon is a member of the 4 Great Dragons, a group of Digimon I have yet to discuss entirely. They are a very interesting group, to be honest. Now, Magnadramon is a Digimon whose existence is a bit of a legend, as it has not really been confirmed where it usually is. It can appear when it feels like it though, especially when there is a gigantic evil energy generated in the digital world. That's where the chances are greatest to see it. Its whole reputation will start to change though once it gets into its X-enhanced form named Magnadramon X. Its reputation changed as its restrained, wild, ferocious nature as a dragon has been completely drawn out. Now, when facing evil Digimon, it smashes them to smithereens in brutal, tremendous battles, hence why it now started to become feared as a vengeful god. I've put Magnadramon and Magnadramon X next to each other, and as you can see, the X-Antibody had hardly an effect on its appearance as both still look quite the same. And it's normal. The X-Antibody does not always have the same effect on all Digimon. Reason why there aren't many changes in this case is because Magnadramon had already manifested its latent abilities. That's why the X-Antibody did not bring about much change. The same can be said about its Holy Dragon colleague Gatomon, who also did not have a lot of change in its appearance. It is not the same story with Magnadramon though, as Magnadramon is one who walked with the digital hazard symbol on its body, meaning that the X-Antibody could technically have made it take 2 routes, either one where the changes might not have been that great, or in this case, one where it becomes the incarnation of hell. I say that because the digital hazard is this sign on a Digimon's body. The presence of this symbol means that the Digimon has the potential to be highly destructive and, if corrupted, could threaten the very existence of both the digital world and the human world. So this explains why Magnadramon X became this creature with terrifying destructive powers. I loved talking about its story arc in the Digimon Multiverse video. Go and check it out if you haven't already. It is in the chapter of Digimon New Century. You will understand how badass Magnadramon X is. And if you're patient enough, we're going to discuss its X-enhanced form in another video. For now, let us get back to Angewomon X, shall we? I said that there is a possibility that it goes the dark route, right? In other words, it is possible that it falls from grace. When that happens, it should turn into LadyDevimon X, a fallen angel Digimon of noble presence. You see, if Angewomon X had its holy powers enhanced, well, LadyDevimon X is one who had its darker power enhanced due to the powers of the X-Antibody. And that is saying something, as LadyDevimon itself already had unparalleled strength because of its dark side power. When I say dark side power, I mean the power dark Digimon often possess by exploiting the dark area's evil dark energy. High purity dark side power allows Digimon like LadyDevimon to reverse the phase of the opponent's own power, incinerating their body and soul and removing any barrier to its virility. Some other demon lords are even able to directly channel the dark energy in battle as extremely high temperature blasts, meaning that those dark Digimon who fight in the dark area could become stronger because of the environmental advantage. Anyway, LadyDevimon X has created this digital lifeform called Volet. It's a digital lifeform who always acts cautiously around it from behind, causing those who it glares at to be instantly paralyzed. It also created the extended armament called Zerdrucken on its right arm. This lifeform traces the movements of its left arm from its dark energy, which has been amplified because of the X-Antibody. And now, it can crush an enemy's Digicore directly, and doing so will cause a Digicore to cease to exist entirely, as a Digimon's primary data is stored within. A Digicore is a Digimon's soul, after all. Remember Ophanimon in its Falldown mode? I told you that it was just one phase, right? Well, if it continues its path, it will become Lilithmon, a Demon Lord Digimon and member of the 7 great Demon Lords, representing the moon and the sin of lust. Again, it was originally an Ophanimon who fell from heaven and eventually became known as the Goddess of Darkness. This same goddess got its own X-enhanced variant and became Lilithmon X. Interestingly, the X-Antibody made it obtain a youthful, bewitching body because of its obsession for beauty. And now, just like a butterfly, Lilithmon X is said to have an appearance that captivates everyone who sees it, instantly turning them into its puppets. Small question, do you remember the old delete move of Ophanimon X? The technique it only acquired due to the powers of the X-Antibody. Well, Lilithmon X has also gained a new power, a new technique, also because of the X-Antibody. You see, each Demon Lord has a crown associated to the sin it represents, and Lilithmon X became capable of drawing out the power of its crown of lust. With that, it can control others over a vast range. This might explain why it defeated Examon during the Digimon Chronicle X War. I explained the entirety of that war in the Digimon Multiverse video, make sure to check it out if you haven't already. Those Digimon who have been turned into puppets, not just because of Lilithmon X's captivating appearance, but also because of the Code Crown of Lust, have their powers drawn out beyond their limits, leading to their death after being controlled. And when that happens, Lilithmon X just watches with pleasure as their lights shine and fade away in their last moments. It would not care much about them anyway, as the only thing it cares about is to become a goddess of death. Hi guys, this is the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't think the video was going to be taking this long, but then again, Gatomon does have an impressive Digivolution line. obviously its X variants line was going to be much of the same. But I'm happy to have gone over it because otherwise it was simply going to be left alone like that. Not many are that much of a fan of the X-Antibody forms of Digimon. However, the way I see it, they are still an integral part of the Digimon multiverse, just like the Appmon, so I think they should all of them be treated as equal. But now that this is done, how do you think of Gatomon X's Digivolution line? Do you like it or do you not like it? What else do you have to say? Please make sure to write your comments down in the comment section and don't forget to like the video for the YouTube algorithm. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and if you love Digimon. I mean, you know what? You better subscribe, I would say. I wouldn't want Gatomon to come and look at you with its scary eyes at night. We should better avoid that. See you all in the next video.